Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast origin: Canadian Emergency Management Agency. Alert level: National warning. Date: August 30th, 2025. Time: 11:58 p.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the Government of Canada. This is not a test. At approximately 11:47 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, multiple astronomical observatories reported an unexplained phenomenon involving the Moon. The Moon is taken on a deep blood red coloration, unrelated to any known lunar eclipse or atmospheric event. The cause of this phenomenon is currently unknown. The Canadian Space Agency and international partners are actively investigating. Preliminary reports indicate the following associated effects: unusual animal migration and behavior, minor disruptions to satellite communications, atmospheric pressure fluctuations in western regions, strange audible frequencies detected in remote areas. At this time, no immediate danger is confirmed. However, this event may be a precursor to natural disturbances. All residents are advised to take the following precautions: remain indoors and avoid direct visual contact with the Moon. Secure emergency supplies including food, water, and medical kits. Monitor official broadcasts every 30 minutes for updates. Refrain from spreading unverified information. Do not panic. Authorities are monitoring the situation closely. Further instructions will be issued as more information becomes available. This message will repeat.
Last night at 11:47 p.m., thousands across western Canada and the northern U.S. looked up and saw something that made them question reality: a blood-red moon, deeper and more vivid than any eclipse. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't there supposed to be an eclipse? That's the thing, no such event was on the calendar. This wasn't a typical lunar eclipse or a meteorological trick of the light. In response, the Canadian Emergency Alert System issued a rare national warning. The language was chilling. Avoid direct observation, stay indoors, and brace for natural disturbances. Not a drill, not a test. Satellite telemetry, think of it as the sky's health monitor, showed minor atmospheric anomalies and a low-frequency hum detected by seismic monitors. Migratory birds, guided by magnetic fields, suddenly flew in chaotic patterns. So, what's the setup here? An unpredicted lunar event, the conflict authorities and scientists scrambling for answers, and for now, the resolution is uncertainty. The Moon's crimson transformation has left experts, and all of us searching for meaning. Let's get technical for a moment. Astronomers are grappling with two terms: atmospheric distortion and gravitational anomaly. In plain English, that's like saying, maybe the air between us and the Moon bent the light oddly, or maybe the Moon itself warped under some strange force. But when scientists ran the numbers, the math didn't add up. No recent volcanic eruptions, no wildfires to fill the sky with dust. And gravitational data from NASA's lunar satellites imagine high-precision bathroom scales orbiting the Moon showed nothing out of the ordinary. Now you might ask, could this be a data glitch or a satellite malfunction? Astrophysicists checked and double-checked. The instruments are fine. The readings are real. Let me tell you about the strange hum the kind seismic monitors pick up during earthquakes. Except this time, there were no tectonic shifts, just the Moon glowing red and the Earth itself humming back. So here's our Act 3, the limits of scientific knowledge. When established models can't explain what's happening, we're forced to admit, sometimes the universe breaks its own rules, or maybe we just haven't found them yet. Forget data for a second. Throughout history, a blood moon has never just been a color in the sky. It's a story, a warning, an omen. In Inca legend, it's a jaguar devouring the Moon, In Hindu mythology, the demon Rahu swallows her in revenge. The Greeks, they spoke of the goddess Selene, cloaked by darkness, a cosmic drama of gods and monsters. Every culture read their own fears and hopes in that crimson glow, mapping celestial events to earthly fate. Now, you might wonder, is this just superstition, or is there a deeper psychological need at play? When unexplained things happen in the sky, we look for meaning. Pattern recognition, what psychologists call apophenia, kicks in. Let's talk astrology for a moment. This blood moon anchored in Pisces, astrologers claim it signals a cosmic reset, a time for endings, upheavals, even warnings to world leaders. Whether you buy it or not, the symbolism is powerful. And here's the resolution. In times of uncertainty, myths give us a story to hold on to, a way to translate anxiety into narrative. The blood moon isn't just an event. It's a message, though the sender remains unknown. How did people react? Social media exploded overnight. Blurry photos, shaky phone videos, breathless posts. Some claim to see shapes moving across the moon's surface. Others insist it's aliens or biblical prophecy come alive. Here's a technical term for you. Virality. Like a digital wildfire, ideas spread true or false at the speed of a retweet. Conspiracy theory is the fuel. Uncertainty is the spark. Let me play devil's advocate. Now you might be thinking, isn't this just mass hysteria? Don't people always overreact to the unknown? Sure. But beneath the noise, there's a shared unease, a sense that something fundamental has shifted. As the night wore on, emergency alerts kept coming. Some communities even lost power briefly. Coincidence? Or part of the anomaly? No one knows. But fear, that oldest of instincts, is now a trending hashtag. So, what's our takeaway? In the absence of answers, speculation fills the void. The moon has turned crimson, the sky is watching, and humanity is left waiting, eyes on the horizon, nerves on edge, searching for the next chapter in this unfolding mystery.
Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, Canadian Emergency Management Agency. Alert Level, National Crisis. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 12:06 a.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the Government of Canada. This is not a test. Following the blood moon event reported on August 30, multiple regions across Western Canada and the northern United States have experienced a series of unexplained phenomena. The following incidents have been confirmed: strange auditory disturbances, low-frequency hums, whispers, and metallic echoes heard in rural and urban areas. Unidentified creature sightings, shadowy figures and non-human entities observed in wooded regions and near water sources. Electrical failures, widespread power outages and malfunctions in communication devices. Psychological distress, reports of night terrors, hallucinations, and memory loss in affected zones. These events are believed to be linked to the celestial disturbance initiated by the blood moon. Authorities are investigating the possibility of a dimensional breach or unknown environmental shift. All residents are ordered to take the following actions immediately: remain indoors after nightfall. Do not investigate strange noises or lights. Cover windows and avoid direct visual contact with the night sky. Keep battery-powered radios and flashlights on hand. Report any unusual sightings to local authorities. Do not approach unknown entities. Limit online communication to verified sources. Disinformation is spreading rapidly. This is a rapidly evolving situation. Further instructions will be issued as more information becomes available. This message will repeat. Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, Canadian Emergency Management Agency. Alert Level, National Emergency. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 1:06 a.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the Government of Canada. This is not a test. At approximately 1:02 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, astronomical monitoring stations confirmed the complete and unexplained disappearance of the Moon from Earth's night sky. This event is not consistent with any known eclipse, orbital shift, or natural celestial occurrence. The Moon is no longer visible from any location on Earth. The cause of this phenomenon is unknown. International space agencies are actively investigating. All residents are advised to remain indoors and avoid direct observation of the sky. Do not attempt to document or photograph the event. Please take the following precautions: monitor official broadcasts for continuous updates. Prepare for potential environmental disturbances. Maintain emergency supplies including food, water, and medical kits. Avoid spreading unverified information. This is a rapidly developing situation. Further instructions will be issued as more information becomes available. This message will repeat.
Welcome back to Crimson Skies. I'm Alex Mercer, and if you can hear this, you know the world changed last night. Picture this. The Moon, our familiar silver guardian, suddenly bled red. Not a gentle eclipse, not a photographer's delight, but a shock, like spilled ink across the sky. Now, did you get the Canadian Emergency Alert System's message? I did. It wasn't your average weather bulletin. This was a national warning. Stay indoors. Don't look at the Moon. Don't ask questions. That's not protocol for a lunar event, is it? Here's what pushed this into the territory of the uncanny. Astronomers can't give us a cause. Normally, an eclipse has a penumbra, a soft shadow, slowly creeping. This was instant, vivid, and unnatural. Imagine a switch being flipped on the entire sky. Not a gentle fade, but a jarring transformation. And let me ask, when has a celestial body ever made you feel watched? Some are saying the Moon isn't just red. They claim it's aware. That's anthropomorphism, attributing human qualities to non-human entities. But last night, didn't you feel it too? So, here's my setup. A human population, used to certainty in the heavens, now facing a bleeding moon and an unexplained national warning. Conflict. Our sense of cosmic order is disrupted. Resolution? We're searching for answers under a sky that suddenly feels hostile. Let's break down what happened after the Crimson Night Rise. Reports flooded in from Alberta, Saskatchewan, all across the heartland. Have you heard the low-frequency hums? If you haven't, imagine the sound of a distant engine, too deep for your ears but vibrating through your bones. But it's not just the hums. Metallic groans echo through alleyways. Whispers people swear they're hearing voices in fog, names called by no one visible. That's infrasound for you frequencies below human hearing, known to trigger unease or fear. Is it natural or something else entirely? Now, animals. Nature's early warning system. Birds flying in panicked circles, dogs refusing to go out, cats bristling at nothing. If you're wondering, this is a textbook sign of environmental stress. But what's causing it? Electromagnetic disturbances? Something more sinister? Here's a story from a listener. A voice in the fog, calling my name but no one was there. Now you might be thinking, that's just hysteria. But when enough independent people describe the same thing, it starts to feel like a pattern, not coincidence. So the conflict, familiar sounds and behaviors twist into something unfamiliar. Our resolution? We're left clinging to rational explanations, even as the evidence slips through our fingers. Now let's talk about the sightings, those tall, thin figures near lakes and woods. Shadowy, no eyes, no faces, vanishing on approach. Not your average wildlife encounter, right? Why do these stories matter? Because they represent a psychological archetype, the unknown intruder. Some leave scorched footprints, a detail that triggers every alarm bell. Scorching suggests thermal anomalies, maybe even electromagnetic surges. But others? They vanish without a trace. Now, you might ask, are we just seeing what we expect to see when we're afraid? Let me tell you a story. Decades ago, in another part of the world, villagers reported faceless figures after a meteor strike. The mind, faced with the inexplicable, fills in blanks with fear. But what if, just what if, something is piggybacking on this cosmic event? Authorities haven't confirmed any of this. But let's be honest, when has an official denial ever calmed a town during a blackout? The EAS told us, don't investigate, don't engage. That's classic risk mitigation. Or maybe a sign they don't know any more than we do. Setup. Our world is haunted by silhouettes. Conflict. We're told not to look, but curiosity always wins. The uneasy resolution? Some mysteries are most dangerous when you try to answer them. And then came the unimaginable. The moon vanished. Not clouded, not eclipsed, gone. Within the hour, the emergency alert system declared a national emergency. That's a term reserved for existential threats, folks, not mere anomalies. No trace, no explanation. Space agencies went radio silent. Telescopes found nothing. Here's a technical term, occultation. Normally, that's when one celestial object passes in front of another. But tonight, we witnessed anomalous disappearance. An event so outside the norm it lacks scientific precedent. Social media is awash in blurry videos. Theories ranging from gravitational collapse to cosmic portals. But let's ground this. The moon stabilizes our tides and axial tilt. Remove it, and we're looking at unpredictable ocean surges, tidal chaos, and a wobbling planet. That's not science fiction. That's orbital mechanics. A listener voice memo summed it up. I looked up and felt, watched, like something was waiting behind the stars. Are we dealing with cosmic indifference or direct intervention? That's the big question. So here's our resolution. Humanity, stripped of its lunar anchor, faces a future exposed gravitationally, emotionally, even spiritually. The true impact? We're only beginning to realize what we've lost. Stay safe, stay curious. And if you look up, be careful. Something new may be looking back.
Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, Environment and Climate Change Canada. Alert Type, Tornado Warning, Extreme Weather Event. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 10 a.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the Government of Canada. This is not a test. A tornado warning has been issued for the following regions. Central Alberta including Edmonton, Red Deer, and surrounding communities. Southern Saskatchewan including Regina and Moose Jaw. At 10 a.m. MDT, radar detected multiple rotating supercells forming rapidly in non-tornadic zones. These storms are producing large, unstable tornadoes with unpredictable movement and unusual electrical discharges. These tornadoes are believed to be linked to the recent celestial event involving the disappearance of the moon. Warning: immediate action required. Seek shelter in a basement or interior room on the lowest floor. Avoid windows and do not attempt to photograph or film the sky. Remain indoors until the all-clear is given. Do not investigate strange lights, sounds, or figures during the storm. Keep a battery-powered radio on hand for continuous updates. This is a rapidly escalating weather emergency. Further instructions will be issued as conditions develop. This message will repeat. Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, Canadian Emergency Management Agency. Alert Level, National Security Emergency. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 12:03 p.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the Government of Canada. This is not a test. As of 12 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, multiple incidents have been reported involving hostile encounters with unknown entities. These creatures, previously observed in isolated locations, are now actively engaging with civilians in urban and rural areas. Confirmed characteristics include non-human physiology, tall, shadowed figures with undefined features, unusual locomotion, movement patterns that defy known biological behavior, aggressive behavior, attacks on individuals and groups, particularly in open areas. Simultaneously, a secondary phenomenon has emerged: large groups of people are becoming transfixed by the sky. Strange auditory frequencies are causing disorientation, paralysis, and loss of voluntary control. Individuals under this influence may become non-responsive or attempt to leave shelter. Warning: immediate action required. Do not look at the sky. Cover windows and remain in low light conditions. Avoid all contact with unknown entities. Do not attempt to communicate. If you or someone near you becomes transfixed, remove them from view of the sky immediately. Maintain radio contact with local authorities. Cellular networks may be unreliable. Do not trust unverified broadcasts or signals. This is a national security emergency. Authorities are actively responding. Further instructions will be issued as conditions develop. This message will repeat.
I wish we were meeting under different circumstances, Dr. Rowe. Alex was more than a co-host, he was my anchor. And honestly, every word in this studio feels heavier now. His death wasn't just a loss for us. It's a warning. When the people trying to tell the truth start vanishing, what does that say about what's coming?
Losing someone so close, especially right as the world's unraveling, is devastating. What troubles me most is the pattern. When someone speaks out, the consequences seem immediate. That kind of silencing suggests we're facing something determined to keep us in the dark, and that's where panic takes root.
I keep replaying our last conversation, wondering if we missed anything. He was so insistent we warn people, get ahead of it. Now the attacks are happening in broad daylight, no more shadows, no more rumors. It's all out in the open.
It's chilling, Mara. The escalation, the sudden aggression, these aren't random. The figures you mentioned, they seem to know when and where to strike, picking off those most likely to resist or reveal the truth. It's not just violence, it's message control.
You know, it was only a week ago listeners would write in about strange sightings, strangers standing still in the fog, just watching. Now it's like every warning's come alive at once. People are being dragged away in their own neighborhoods.
What stands out to me is the silence, how these attacks happen without a sound. It's almost as if the absence of noise is part of the terror, making it feel unreal. That and the fog, which seems to erase everything it touches, even the evidence of what happened.
Last night a caller described the aftermath as nothing but static, no footprints, no dropped keys, just an eerie hum on his phone line. I'm afraid Alberta and Saskatchewan are just the beginning. If people don't realize the danger, this will spread.
Absolutely. And that static you mention, that's not just a detail. In neurological terms, it could mean interference, not just with communication, but with perception itself. People are left doubting even what they saw. And that's where sky trances comes in.
So, Dr. Rowe, You coined the term sky trance. Can you break down what exactly that means? Why are people freezing up, staring at the sky, sometimes babbling in other languages?
Glad you asked. Sky trance describes a sudden shift in consciousness, almost like mass hypnosis. The disappearance of the moon seems to have triggered something in our brains. Now, people experience sensory distortions, phantom sounds, loss of voluntary control, even language anomalies. It's as if whatever's broadcasting is hijacking how we process reality.
That actually reminds me of those old stories about people drawn to a siren's call, unable to resist. Only this time, it's not a myth, it's measurable, right? Are we talking about electromagnetic waves? Or something else entirely?
That's the puzzle. We've ruled out radio and visible light. The signal seems to bypass our usual senses, maybe using frequencies or fields we don't even have names for yet. What worries me is that it can compel, not just suggest behavior. We're dealing with a kind of neurological hacking on a mass scale.
With all this happening, it's hard not to feel powerless. Still, listeners keep asking, what do I actually do to keep myself and my family safe? Are there real steps people can take, even when the threat feels so intangible?
Honestly, simple steps can make a difference, covering windows, avoiding mirrors, not looking at the sky, as you've told your listeners. The less exposure to the source, the lower the risk. And crucially, don't isolate yourself emotionally. Stay in contact. Check on neighbors, even if you have to do it through static-filled lines.
Funny you say that Alex would always remind people to stay human no matter how bizarre things got. I think that's what we have left, even as the world gets stranger. Looking out for each other, holding on to what makes us ourselves.
That's exactly it. The most dangerous part of something like sky trance isn't just the loss of control, but the loss of connection. If we can hold on to compassion and reason, even as the signals get louder, we have a fighting chance. The signal wants us isolated and afraid. That's why it's so important to resist. Together.
After everything we've discussed, there's this question that keeps haunting me. Who or what is broadcasting from the void, and why now? I know our next episode is all about the signal, but I'm curious, Doctor. Ro, any theories you can share?
What surprised me most is how targeted the timing is. The disappearance of the moon wasn't just an astronomical event, it felt orchestrated. The signal could be a test, a warning, or even an invitation. We need more data, but I suspect we're not just dealing with a new technology, we're facing a new kind of intelligence.
You just gave me chills. The idea that someone or something is deliberately reaching out, and that we might be answering without even meaning to. It makes every static-filled moment feel loaded with purpose.
That's the danger and the opportunity. If we can decode what's being sent and why we might have a shot at fighting back, or at least understanding the rules of this new reality, until then, caution and curiosity are our best tools. And, of course, keeping the conversation alive.
Picture this. The moon, a constant fixture in our night sky, suddenly turns blood red. You might ask, is this just a rare eclipse or a sign of something more? For centuries, cultures dubbed the blood moon an omen, but in our story, it's a catalyst. The moon's transformation marks the vanishing of what we thought was normal. That's our setup. The sky changes, and the world holds its breath. But here's the twist. People report not just awe, but fear, unexplainable creatures, eerie sounds, and a sense that the very air is charged. Ever heard of the term liminality? It means crossing a threshold, teetering between the familiar and the unknown. That's where we are. Now, you might say, red moons come and go. Why panic? Yet, let me ask, What if the moon was more than a rock? What if it was a seal holding something at bay? As the moon fades and strangeness creeps in, our conflict emerges. The boundary between worlds is porous. The technical term here is extra-dimensional incursion. Imagine reality as fabric, and someone just tugged a thread loose. So, the resolution? We're not just watching a pretty sky. We're witnessing a signal one that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, and the safe into the unknown. Let me tell you a story. Last night, beneath that empty, moonless sky, I intercepted something in the static, not a simple radio glitch. This was a non-terrestrial transmission, a signal not from any Earth source, nor any satellite we launched. You might wonder, what's so special about static? Here's where the technical term frequency band comes in. Think of it like slices of invisible pie, each serving up its own broadcast. Most are noisy, but sometimes there's a hidden message, buried like a secret code. Now the conflict. What if this signal waited for the moon to vanish before it spoke? That's not random, that's intent. When I finally decoded a fragment, it read, "The veil is lifted, the harvest begins." Does that give you chills? It should. Because signals like these aren't just data, they're warnings, or maybe invitations. The second technical term here is encryption key. Without the right one, the message stays locked. But I cracked part of it, and what I found wasn't comforting. So, the resolution. Transmissions can be more than background noise. When decoded, they reveal not just alien presence, but alien purpose. The question is, are we meant to listen? Or to obey? Now you might be thinking, Alex, aren't these just wild stories? I wish they were. But since the moon vanished, reports of exploded creatures, unknown sounds, people staring at the sky as if it's whispering to them. Let's break down two technical terms. First, pattern recognition, our brain's way of finding order in chaos. Second, collective hallucination, when many people share the same strange experience. But is it in their heads? Or is something real manipulating us all? Here's the conflict. The creatures aren't random, not cryptids hiding in shadows, but purposeful searchers. They're looking for something. Or someone. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Imagine your neighborhood. Now imagine 1 in 5 people hearing voices or seeing things at the corner of their eyes. That's not chance. That's coordination. The technical term? Targeted incursion, like a search party from another reality sifting through ours. So how do we resolve this? By accepting the search isn't over. The creatures are clues, and the people who hear the whispers, they're not crazy. They're chosen. The real question is, for what? Let's pull everything together. The moon goes red, then vanishes. Strange transmissions leak through the static. Creatures appear, and people change. So what's behind it all? The phrase, "The veil is lifted. The harvest begins." The veil, that's our technical term for the boundary shielding our world from what's outside. Think of it as cosmic window tint, blocking out what we're not meant to see. When it lifts, everything pours in. The second term is harvest protocol, a chilling way to describe whatever process is starting now. Many of you might ask, if the veil's gone, what's next? Are we prey or participants? And that's the conflict uncertainty rules. We've lost the luxury of ignorance. Our world's exposed. Let me share a hypothetical. Imagine Mara, still broadcasting, fighting to get the truth out. Imagine you, hearing this. Will you ignore the message or act? Will you trust the silence or question it? Here's the resolution. Knowledge is our only defense. Don't trust the silence. Don't trust the light. And above all, whatever you do, don't look up. Because now, what's behind the sky is coming through.
We have waded beneath your tides. We have whispered through your winds. We have watched from behind the veil. And now the veil is lifted. The harvest begins. You looked to the moon for comfort. You built calendars from its silence. You measured your lives by its glow. But the moon was never yours. It was a seal, a lock, a warning. Now it is gone, and we are here. Your skies will speak. Your oceans will rise. Your minds will open until they break. Do not run. Do not hide. You were chosen. You were grown. You are the harvest.
Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, United States Geological Survey USGS and Environment and Climate Change Canada. Alert Type, Global Seismic Emergency. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 3:06 p.m. MDT. This is an emergency message from the governments of the United States and Canada. This is not a test. At approximately 2:58 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, a massive 10.0 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Northern California. This is the strongest earthquake ever recorded in North America. The following states have reported catastrophic damage: California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington. Aftershocks are occurring rapidly and may exceed magnitude 8.0. Infrastructure failure is widespread. Power grids, transportation networks, and communication systems have been compromised. Simultaneous seismic events have been reported in Japan, Indonesia, Chile, Russia, the Philippines, Alaska, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Tsunami warnings have been issued for all Pacific coastlines. Evacuation orders are in effect. Warning: immediate action required. Seek shelter away from windows, heavy objects, and structural weak points. If near coastal regions, move to higher ground immediately. Avoid bridges, tunnels, and elevated roadways. Do not use elevators. Expect aftershocks. Remain alert and prepared to move. Maintain radio contact with local authorities. Cellular networks may be unreliable. This is a global seismic emergency. Authorities are actively responding. Further instructions will be issued as conditions develop. This message will repeat. Global Emergency Alert System Activation. Broadcast Origin, United Nations Coordinated Response Network. Alert Level, Extinction Level Event. Date, August 31, 2025. Time, 4:44 p.m. UTC. This is a global emergency message. This is not a test. All major governments and space agencies have confirmed the following: the entities previously observed following the blood moon event have initiated a full-scale harvest of Earth. The following events are occurring worldwide: mass disappearances in urban and rural populations. Non-human entities emerging from fog banks, water sources, and atmospheric distortions. Global communication networks being overridden by unknown signals. Strange auditory frequencies causing mass hysteria, paralysis, and loss of volition. Structural collapse of major cities due to unidentified energy waves. The entities have broadcast the following message across all networks: the veil is lifted. The harvest begins. Warning: immediate action required. Do not look at the sky. Do not listen to unexplained frequencies. Remain indoors, underground if possible. Avoid all contact with non-human entities. Do not trust any signals or voices emanating from electronic devices. Maintain radio contact with local survival networks only. If you are alone, stay silent. They are drawn to sound. This is a global survival emergency. Authorities have lost control. Humanity is in critical danger. This message will repeat until signal is lost.